Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentiss Thompson, along with the pastor, Caleb Windley. We're here to help you get through Sunday. Did you hear the pastor? What about your live streams, social media? We provide solid solutions for all of your multimedia needs. Let's learn something today. Let's go. Yes. Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast, episode number 58. I'm your humble host, Mr. Prentiss Thompson, along with the
Pastor Caleb Windley. Guys, how you guys are doing out there
today? I didn't get up there this time. I know.
I was waiting. I was like, the pastor.
I was bumping my gums. I lost my range. I'm a tenor today. I'm not a soprano.
He's been hitting these soprano notes. I'll be like, all right, brother, all right. The pastor.
Welcome to the show. Not today. Today I'm Barry White.
I feel you.
Welcome to episode number 58. Yeah. So glad to have you guys in the place. Before we get started, I need you to do a couple of favors for me. One, if you are listening to this, make sure you like, subscribe, and review us. That will be very appreciative. Helps keep the lights on. And if you are watching this, and hopefully you're doing both, that you are subscribing and you have selected that notification button.
Exactly.
And our last thing I want you to do, I know it's just like school. This is like school.
Yeah.
If you want to be part of our newsletter, go to our website, churchsoundpodcast.com. Churchsoundpodcast.com. Go to the down to the page and put your information in to add yourself to our newsletter. Our newsletter is chock full of information.
Yes, it is.
Not just about the show, but chock full of information that's going to help you on your journey with your church, your walk, your life. We talk about real life, real situations that goes on in church, but we also talk about real life that goes on in your world. Yeah. So make sure you do that. So today's topic is more of a ministry topic than a technical topic.
Right.
It's called The Beauty of Small Beginnings. And we're gonna dive into it. So I know that sounded like a book or a essay of sorts or PDF you may have found online.
Okay.
The beauty of small beginnings.
Beauty of small beginnings.
But there is a beauty in it, in the small beginnings of anything. And so we're gonna dive into that and how that can affect your ministry, your walk, and inside your department as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. That's always your favorite word. Man. Exactly.
I'm a man of very few words.
Exactly.
Like
you can't do that with a podcast now. You can't do that with a podcast. Who else is other than you talking, Prentiss? Exactly. His name is Mr. Exactly. So let's pay some bills and let's talk about our sponsor, Metro Podcast Studio, the hottest podcast studio in New York City. If you have any podcasting needs, hit them up. They are located in the heart of Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, 24th and Broadway. Hit them up, metropodcaststudio.com for recording, audio, video, live streaming on multiple platforms and post-production. If you need them, hit them, metropodcaststudio.com. So
that's
it. And the Mr. Exactly is the man on the mic.
Yep.
So let's get into Sunday school.
Okay, class is time. Time for Sunday school. You gonna go? Get me on here. Come on.
We are jumping there already?
Yes, we are.
That's what's up. I like
We're
it.
in Sunday school.
I like it. Well, for those that don't know that this may be the first time that you've ever tuned in with us or viewing us, Sunday school are the stories that we have kind of had the privilege to experience. They're very funny stories. They're very lighthearted, but we take the time.
Funny to us.
Yeah. We take the time not to put anybody on blast. Like, if you don't understand what that means, it means that we keep the names have been changed to protect the ignorant, because sometimes
and the guilty.
there's some people, man. But anyway, I digress. So I am the man with the mic, and I have the opportunity to give you my 3 points, and you have to choose out of the 3. My brother's going to choose out of the 3 for you, being that you can't choose for yourself. All right. So the first point today is needs sleep. Needs
the sleep.
Sleep. SLEEP. Okay. My second point is a candidate for prayer. A candidate for prayer. Right. And my last point, which is my doozy, is a new suit and ties. Not tie, tithes. A
new suit
and ties.
That makes me think of somebody I know.
Oh, yeah. Some people, they choose one or the other. It's the new suit or the tie.
I am going to go with need sleep for $44.99.32.
All right. I can rock with that. Needs sleep. So in our a church that we used to be a part of, I'm not going to say if we are or not, they would do a yearly conference. And when I first joined this ministry, this conference was actually literally 4 days long. 4 days long. Like, and this was not 4 days, just 4 days. This was 4 days Monday, 4 days, it would start on a Tuesday, and then sometimes it would wind up on Sunday because it was just that long. Because everybody was just having a ball. People came from north, south, east, west to come to this conference. And so having the responsibility of being connected to the media team, we had to do cameraing, we had to record, we had to do this
cameraing. Interesting word. You said cameraing.
Yes, I've been hanging around you too long.
You said cameraing. This dude said cameraing. And he just said, we had to do cameraing.
If it was a mistake,
said cameraing. We had to do cameraing.
Yo, come on. Yes, cameraing.
Cameraing.
We have fun.
Oh God.
We have fun here. And so around the third night of this, because what would happen as well is because we would have product outside the building, we would have to stay there for the most part. Most of the men or most of the media would have to stay overnight. And then we would break up.
Wow.
Yeah, so we would break the shifts up. So somebody would sleep for 4 hours, and then the next person would come in the middle of the night and tap on them and send them home, and the other person would stay till the morning. So this particular time, the schedule was made that a brother that was supposed to get relieved, he had the first 4 hours, never got relieved. The other person was at home and they slept the entire time. So this brother, when he gets, if he got up, when he gets,
because he was cameraing. That's why. Right. He was cameraing.
He was cameraing before, but when he gets up for this next session, when the service starts again, he's back on the camera. Now he's on camera 3 at this point. So he's roving around the building for those that don't know. And so I'm like, brother, do you want, he said, I got this, this is for the Lord, and then we're going to give God the glory. He was very, he's very religious, one of those, I don't want to say religious, but he was very one of those brothers that I was just like, I got this, God's got me. I'm going to do it by the grace and faith and all that great stuff, which is true. There's truth to that, but you also have to take into consideration if you need sleep. Oh, and so at partly maybe 20 minutes into the service, right after praise and worship, My brother goes out. He's got camera 3, and I think at this particular moment we had the jig the one that was on the body. It's like a body cam, so you can like kind of spin it here and there. And so he's taking shots, and then we notice that the camera is taking shots now of the ceiling. So we figured he sat down, took the camera off, and then the camera flipped up to the ceiling. My brother fell asleep in the front of the pastor. Like he got down and went straight up. Now the camera's attached to him, so we eventually send somebody outside, like, yo, bro, wake up. And the pastor at that moment is fuming, because not only is he sleep in front of the pastor, he's sleep in front of dignitaries and people that have come, and he's a distraction because he's not just sleeping, he's snoring. So we're like, yo, dude, wake up.
Oh,
the camera. No, I'm good now. I just needed to rest my eyes. I'm gonna do this for the Lord. So we can't get the camera off of him. He refuses to let go. It's based upon where he's at. He knows it's not gonna happen again. Not 10 minutes later, we're getting shots, unfortunately, of ladies' blouses. because he is unable to hold the camera up.
Because he's cameraing.
So he's we're like, take shots of people doing their Bible, not their bodies. Right? But all of this is happening. And I say all of this to say, in the midst of your cameraing, I'm never gonna live this one down. You're going to need sleep, because you can't hold that camera. You can't let that thing rest on you. It is eventually going to, something's gonna win out. And faith is great, but you need sleep. And this has been Sunday School.
Sunday School with the good pastor. Oh my gosh, that was too funny. And the cameraing comment worked perfectly as its description. But not how you use it originally, because we'll get back to that. But I don't know what school you went to that you came up with cameraing. That's also a ghetto hood explanation, or I don't know what that was,
brother.
But it applied at the end. Okay, it worked at the end. It worked in the end because your man was definitely cameraing.
No, he was tired, bro. He was tired.
Oh gosh, that's too.
He wasn't gonna give up.
All right, so let's dive right into our topic. Yeah. I want to read something, and that applies to growth.
Okay. I
got this off a website. I thought it was very apropos and deep, not a basic explanation of plants.
Okay.
Like any other plant, not cameraing, plant, trees need sun, water, nutrients for survival. There are three main parts of a tree, the roots. There are three main parts of a tree, the roots, the trunk, and the crown, branches, and leaves, and each plays a part in helping the tree use the sun, the water, and nutrients. Right. So, when we talk about the beauty of small beginnings, anything that you've ever seen or witnessed, whether it's in a church, whether it's in the street, whether it's in a business, whether it's anything, everything started with a small beginning. Yeah. And there's beauty in the small beginnings. Even if your church just started live streaming this weekend, like next Sunday is going to be your first Sunday live stream. Wow. Your church never live streamed. There's beauty in small beginnings. If you look, you'll find evidence of a small beginning.
Yeah.
God always gives you a seed.
Exactly.
So that thought of we need to start a live streaming, we need to start a dance ministry, we need to start doing digital outreach. Even as little as a tiny seed, something is always causing you to have hope. So you focus on the seed, you rejoice over the seed, and it's a sign of greater things to come. So when you have the seed, and my former pastor always, he would do this to me when I would be frustrated. He would go like this. Imagine this is a seed. He would say, it's a tree in here.
Mm. That's good.
And I was like, it's a tree in here. It's a tree in here.
Right.
So it's the beauty of the small beginnings. And there are certain things that goes along with it that could be discouraging. That could be overwhelming. And it's finding the beauty in it to move forward, to keep your focus, and knowing that when you're planting a seed, you're looking at the tree, but you're really holding the seed. What do you say? Exactly? Is that what you got to say? Exactly?
No. I think at some point we dropped out just a little bit.
Okay.
I think personally, you're right when you talk about that small beginning being beautiful. A lot of times it's the baby steps that really allow us to kind of come into a place of greatness. No one just jumps up and runs. And so it's in those times when you are allowing those first steps, those first beginnings, those first seeds to come to fruition. There's so much that God is doing inside of you. You know what I'm saying? There's so much faith that's coming alive when you're taking the time to just kind of get enraptured in that time of that first beginning. I believe that God does his greatest work in the beginning. I believe because the beginning speaks of foundation. Those beginnings speak to that placement where you're going to be established at, where it takes longer to build that foundation, just like it takes longer for that seed to become a tree. It's becoming a tree, but it takes a very long time for it to come up and show a mature sprout. So it's in those moments of darkness, it's in those moments of what seems to be small and insignificant that you've got to look for the beauty. And I love the fact that your pastor did that to you, to remind you that don't get caught up on the seed, but recognize that there's something within it. Every seed has a tree. And I think it's also when you said that, I thought about how God has consistently put his focus on the male, because the male is the seed bearer. We carry the seeds. So there's beauty on the inside of us. And when that seed comes into contact with the other portion, then we get to see the fruition of what God really set out to create. And so, yeah, beautiful, bro. Beautiful. This is going to be a great time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, sometimes you don't know what you started.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I've been in situations where you get really, really excited because God showed you this big idea, this great idea. You get so excited. Right. And in the next moment, you're terrified.
Yeah.
Like in the next morning, it's like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. You go tell your wife and your friends, yeah, I want to do this, and you sit down by yourself and you go like,
right.
And I'm thinking to myself too, you can't.
Right. Exactly. You can't.
If your dream is not big enough that it requires other things and people and God to do it, then your dream ain't big enough.
Yeah.
If your dream is, man, one day I'm gonna walk to the corner. Man, I'm gonna walk to the corner. I'm gonna get a house.
Yep.
Yo, y'all don't understand how hard that is. I'm gonna walk to the corner. Yeah, I'm gonna stand there. I'm gonna stand there on the corner. I'm gonna walk to
that corner.
Yo, y'all don't understand. When I get to the corner, you know, I'm gonna stand there. Anybody could do that.
Right.
But if you say that on the next block of that corner, I'm gonna own the next 10 blocks.
Right.
And I'm going to build housing for the unfortunate, for unwed, for single mothers, battered women. I'm going to build a facility for men coming out of prison. Then the dream is only is you can't do it. That's the God dream.
Right.
That's the kind of dream you go, I have big dreams and big aspirations, huge aspirations.
Right.
That I know I cannot do by myself. But the part I can do, I do. When I get to the part where I just go, oh, it's your stuff. Hey, your stuff.
Yeah.
I can't do that. You told me to do X, Y, Z. I can't do that. So I'm going to go down a couple of points.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this first.
Okay.
And I got this from, who was it? I forget the pastor's name, but I'll leave it in the notes.
Okay.
He says, she says, small beginnings, also known as humble beginnings, are there for a reason and serve a purpose. It is during the time of small beginnings that God works on our character, which in time will show its strength and purpose. Humble beginnings are just that, humble.
Awesome.
So my first point is this. The truth of the matter is that we all need to start somewhere. And I want to raise a point, and I know people even know this, that Amazon started in the garage of the owner.
Yeah. It sure did, bro.
Amazon started in the garage.
Jesus Christ.
in the garage of its owner. And it wasn't a big garage. He had like a 2 or 3 bedroom home, like I want to say something like maybe 1,200 square feet, small garage. Amazon started in a garage. The Amazon that we go to every single day.
Yeah.
Audible books.
Yeah.
We can go down the line.
Yeah.
Flights, all kind of stuff, right? It started with the seed of an idea to provide a service.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So the truth of the matter is, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're thinking about, it starts somewhere.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We are the conduit, or we are the vessel of visions given. Right. He gives us imaginations, right? He gives us this mind for imaginations. Right. Even your cell phone, Now think about this. The cell phone, every component in the cell phone was here at the beginning of time.
Yep.
Every component that is in a cell phone came from this planet.
It sure did. It sure did.
Every component. So what does that mean? That means to get to this point, electricity had to be created. A landline had to be created. But it all started with, I want to be able to talk to my friend on this megaphone.
Right. Yeah.
To you walking around with a computer in your pocket.
Absolutely.
But everything that's in your cell phone was here when he said, let there be light.
Yep.
Everything in your car was on this planet.
Yeah.
When he said, let there be light. Everything that you taste, smell, hear, feel, experience was here when he said, let there be light. So what does that mean? That means it's all about the revelation of what's on the earth.
Yeah. It's
not that it wasn't here, because you think about it, the first plane flew in 1908. It's 2021.
Right.
Think about it. That wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
The Wright brothers flew in 1908. It's 2021, and there are airports all over this world.
Exactly.
But everything on the earth for a plane to fly was already here. But what wasn't here was the imagination stacked on top of the imagination.
Exactly.
What did I mean by that? It's the revelation stacked on top of the imagination. The revelation stacked onto the imagination. The revelation stacked onto another imagination. The revelation stacked onto another imagination. That's why technology grows the way it does, because someone had an idea about doing internet. How slow was that?
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
But that was an idea stacked on an idea. Yeah. That was an idea, an idea that became a reality that someone else saw a bigger imagination of. Then that became a reality. And then someone else saw that reality and had a grander idea, and that became a reality. So,
wow,
humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. That's good, man.
Start.
That's good. And I love the fact that.
But everything, you can't see it.
Right. Because it begins with a thought. And a thought is nothing more than a seed. The beginning of every small beginning is a seed. And in that seed contains everything that we need to know. Like, I love the fact that you pointed out that it was already here. It was already here. It was already here, but what wasn't here was the thought. What didn't enter my mind at that particular moment was that thought. When the thought comes, then that which is in the earth realm can become that which it was supposed to become. Dope, bro. That's dope.
Right.
That's dope.
Right.
And if we despise
Point
that,
number
it's
two.
a problem.
Right, exactly. Point number two. Small beginnings often require dedication and commitment.
Truth.
They require dedication and commitment. Jesus spoke about the parable of the seed and the tares.
Yeah.
Where's your seed going? And what are you doing to protect it? What are you doing to nurture it? To grow anything, to grow your muscles, to raise your children, to take care of your dog, all of that requires dedication and commitment to keep it alive and thriving. Right. Leave a plant alone without sunlight, it will suffer, even though you give it water. Give it water and don't give it sun, it will suffer. It needs all three aspects for growth, which means it's a requirement, whatever your seed is, if it's your new live stream department in your church, it's going to require some dedication and some commitment.
Right. So true. So true. I love the fact too, bro, that, the Bible says, unless a seed falls and dies. So a lot of times we fear stepping out. We fear the beginning, that first step, because we fear the death part. Because something has to go into darkness before it can become a manifestation into light. And so the one thing I love about the God that we serve, he always brings us into these dark places and says, there's a seed in here, and that seed is going to burst forth into the light and change and transform the world. But are you willing to endure the darkness until the light comes? Until that seed breaks forth and opens up the ground and reveals the light. It's amazing, man. It's just amazing. This is a powerful teaching, bro, for real. Because there's so much beauty to be seen. But if I get caught up in that place of darkness, I can get so fearful that I'll veer off and miss what God was trying to do in the first place.
Right. It kind of brings me back to an illustration that I heard from Steve Harvey a while back. He said, if you don't leap, your parachute will not expand.
That's good.
The circumstance allows your parachute to expand, because the parachute is there to save you from your fall, right? But if you keep looking, you could pull the cord all you want. If you stand still and pull the cord, it's just a bunch of stuff hanging from your back. If you leap, your parachute will expand.
That's good, bro.
Which means your influence, your intelligence, your experiences.
That's good.
All these things come along with that parachute that you don't know you have expanding. So which leads me to my third point, which is, it is not unusual to experience setbacks. It's not unusual to experience setbacks because it's part of learning.
That's good. That's good.
So if you have a setback, it's two ways to look at it. You can get depressed about it and be mad, or you can learn. So I have a mantra that I live by. When I fall on my face and I make a mistake, or something happens to me that that puts me in a precarious position, I go, I never lose. I only learn.
That's good.
I never lose. Because inside of that experience of losing, you should walk away with some knowledge on what did I do wrong, what part of it was me, how can I get better? I know I ain't doing that no more.
Right.
So If you just lose and go, oh my God, I lost, and you ain't learned nothing from it, you boo-boo the fool.
Exactly.
Because you're not leaving with anything. Just like how many times, I'm with my baby boy walking by the stove. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. They go up to the stove, look back at you. Hey, don't touch that stove. Look back at you. Make sure you're not looking. Put their hand into the stove. After a while, let's go. And I hear it. Exactly. Oh, hot, right?
Right.
Bet you won't do that again.
Right.
Or you're going to say, hot. Hot,
exactly.
Daddy.
Exactly.
Hot. But the only way you know what hot feels like is if you experience hot.
Right.
So you never lose. You only learn.
That's good. That's so good, bro. So good, man. Wow. Never lose, you only learn.
You never lose.
And it'll feel like a setback. You'll feel like you've taken 2 steps back. But in the midst of that, you got to realize that this is an opportunity for me to learn something.
Right, but God's not going to let nothing happen to you that you can't handle.
Yeah.
And sometimes God can use a conflict to separate you from somebody that you don't need to be around. Sometimes God can cause a conflict between you and a person because he wants you to see yourself. You know what I mean? So inside of that, you go, what did I learn about me? You know what I mean? I keep harping back on this live stream ministry. It's like, what have you learned in your first week?
Right.
What went wrong? What went right?
What can't we do ever again?
What can't we do ever again?
Exactly.
So you never lose. You only learn. So then you could put things into place so that you can move forward in the space so that the seed can grow, because it's all about focusing on the end result.
Right.
Because you see it afar off. You're not there yet. We got to get there. I understand. It's not where I wanted to be, and this and that. I'm frustrated. But inside of that, you're like, okay, you should probably get this camera, not that camera. You should probably do this and not that. That person should probably be a greeter.
Exactly.
You learn in your in these discomfortable places. You learn. And the funny thing, I know I'm bumping my gums a lot, and you missed it exactly. I know I'm bumping my gums a lot, so
it's all right now. This is good. This is good.
But have you ever looked back like 3 years ago and go, what the heck? What was I thinking?
Yeah, I have done that hundreds of times.
And like, I've looked back in my life, when I was like 22, 23, you go, how did I even do that? Like, what was I thinking? That's the thing. You wasn't. You wasn't. This is the great thing about having experiences. And this is what I love about having experiences. I had the great pleasure of sitting down and taking a couple of young men to lunch last week. And I was able to share my experiences so they don't have to go through that experience.
Right, exactly.
So you then, in fact, become the human detour.
Right, exactly.
You become like, I know what you said. I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And here are the reasons why.
out of the place of wisdom.
And they'll say something like, I never thought about that, because you are the living witness.
And you become the word of wisdom, a living word of wisdom. Right then and there, you become that word. And they need that. They need that. And we need that. You know what I'm saying? It just, wow, man. Awesome. Builds character too.
Yes, it does. Point number 4. This is for churches. Okay. This is specific for churches. Don't be discouraged by what other churches do.
Good. So good. Don't look in that backyard. It's not your backyard, people. Come on.
Don't be discouraged.
Yep.
Don't be discouraged. Remember, small beginnings, also known as humble beginnings, are there for a reason and serve a purpose. It is during the time of small beginning that God works on our character, which in time will show itself in strength and in purpose. Humble beginnings are just that. Humble.
That's good. That's good.
So don't be looking around for, maybe God got another way to do the same thing. Because I look on the street, and I don't know how many different cars there are, but they're all called cars.
Yep. Yeah, true. So true.
And a motorcycle is called a motorcycle.
Right.
And a bicycle is called a bicycle.
Right.
They do the same things.
They get you from point A to point B.
Right.
Yep.
That's the purpose. Yep. So maybe your ministry is not supposed to be like the one up the street.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be like the seed that was planted in you for you to water, to give sun.
Right.
So it can grow roots.
Right.
For the future.
Right. So true. Good word.
Point number 5. Okay. Humble beginnings help us to see how far we have come from when we started and the work that we put in order for us to move from small beginnings to completion. It's the gauge. Like you may think it's funny. It's funny when I think about things is that sometimes you think you started from square one until you look at somebody else who's really starting from square one, and you at spot 15, but it feels like spot 1. You were way ahead of this one person.
Based upon your perception.
Based on your perspective and your perception. Oh, and secondly, where you are in life and where you are in your intelligence, where you are in your wisdom.
Yeah.
It seems like square one to you, but you're really at 20.
Right. You're so much ahead of the other person until you see the other person.
Right. My mom had this famous saying. She would always say this to me anytime I felt discouraged, or anytime I felt like people was talking about me, or anytime I felt, any sort of way. And she was like, I know you complaining about only having 3 pair of sneakers. But it's a guy that woke up with no feet.
Yeah. I've heard that, definitely. Yeah.
It's a guy that woke up with no feet. And you complaining about you got 3 pairs of sneakers.
Yeah. So true.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Nope.
Don't major over minors.
Right. Wow, man. Been there, did that one. Woo, a couple of times.
Don't major over minors. So the small things, it's a beauty in small beginnings. It's a beauty in small beginnings. In Zechariah 4:10 it says, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Right.
And I like how it ended. Rejoices to see the work begin. So I want to make an announcement to the good people out there.
That's it.
2 weeks ago, we began our official company,
Yeah.
Invisible Media Consulting. Yep. It's a LLC.
Yep.
We got our EIN number. About to go open up the bank account. We got our first 3 clients.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited.
Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Right.
Not end. Not in the process. No.
Nah.
The Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Yeah.
Being confident in the very thing he has begun a good work in you and will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. Rejoices to see the work begin. Rejoices to see the work begin. Wow. What does that mean? That means you paid attention to what I've been telling you.
Right.
And you did what I said.
Right.
Because that imagination and that vision came from me.
Right.
And you were the vessel. And I'm rejoicing that you started.
Right. Exactly.
I'm rejoicing that you started, which means I can now
there it is.
Roll this thing out for you, because I couldn't begin the good work in you until you began.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You can't run a marathon unless you train to run one. And you can't run a marathon unless you started to run.
Exactly.
You can't run a marathon if you stand in one place.
Exactly, bro. Jesus Christ. It says he orders our steps, but he doesn't order them until we begin.
Right. He orders them, but we have to follow the instruction. God. He can lay the road out for you, but do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. I want y'all to get that. Begin. The actual seed. The actual seed.
Yeah.
The actual seed. Like my old pastor would say to me, in here is a tree.
Yep.
In this seed that I'm holding in the palm of my hand, in 100 years, this will be an oak tree.
Right.
If you give it water, if you give it sun, and if you allow a space for the roots to grow, it will continuously grow until someone cuts it down. It will continuously grow.
Yep.
However, the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. So whatever you're starting in your ministry, whatever it is, it may be we're going to get a new mixer. I spoke to a guy today. We want to get a new mixer for the work. God, he's rejoicing for the work to begin.
That's it.
We're going to get a new computer for our live stream. God, the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Right.
We're about to get some new microphones because our old microphones are messed up, and we want to make sure when people come back into the service, we're about to get a light and trust. The Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Jesus Christ.
We get new drums. We got new drum mics now, and I want people come back. I want them to feel the presence of God. The Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
That's it, bro. That's it. Because it begins, then he'll bring it to completion.
Exactly.
He'll bring it to completion. But he can't complete what I won't be. If I'm not in position, how can he complete it? Jesus. So good. Wow.
So, Father God, we just want to thank you for, you dropped this in me literally minutes before we started this podcast. So I know this is for someone. I know this is for some pastor. This is for someone. This has nothing to do with us. This has everything to do with you. So I want to thank you for the work that's about to begin.
Thank you, Lord.
That we do not despise the small beginnings. Right. That we are confident in the very thing that He's begun a good work in us, that He will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. And so we are confident in what you began, that you will empower us to complete it. That you see the end at the beginning, which is why you rejoice with the beginning, because you understand and know the end. So we thank you in Jesus' name. Pray amen. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know I've enjoyed this. I've been ministered to. I ain't nobody's pastor. I just say what he says.
That's it, man. That's all pastors do. You know what I'm saying? Dope. Oh boy, it's coming.
We're gonna do it like we always do.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip 30 seconds and go on, because this is a ministry moment. We're gonna keep it right there.
Yeah, sure.
So until next week, like we always say, keep God first in everything you do, and we'll see you next time on the Church Sound Podcast.
Bless y'all.